Yusuf in a way that you probably haven't heard before. So you might have heard Surah Yusuf, but in the way it's going to be done today, you might not have heard of it before. Because the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam and Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam is very, very similar in terms of that there's a lot of unique similarities between them. The first thing is that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, and as I'm saying the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, I'm going to draw comparisons to the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Yusuf alayhi salam's story begins, he has a dream. And in his dream, he says, إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. I have seen the 11 stars, the sun and the moon, and they're bowing down to me. He goes and he tells his father this story. The story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam begins with the dream. The story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam also begins with the dream. Musa alayhi salam's story begins with Fir'aun seeing a dream that there's a fire that comes out of Bayt al-Muqaddas and it engulfs Fir'aun. And that's how the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam begins. The story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam begins with him seeing a dream. And after that, he tells his father. When the father hears about this, the father says, listen, don't tell anyone about your dream. I know your brothers are your brothers, but they will get jealous of hearing your dream because it was a noble dream where Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam is about to become a leader. And that is why it is said, ittaqu, it says, ista'inu ala qada'i hawaijikum bil kitman, fa inna kulla dhi ni'ma mahsud. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, hide your ambitions and your goals. You have a business plan, you have a study plan, you're planning to get married to someone, conceal it, don't tell other people about it. For every blessing an individual has, there's going to be people who are jealous of that blessing. There are people who are going to be jealous of it. فَإِنَّ كُلَّ ذِي نِعْمَةٍ مَحْسُودٍ. It's jealous. So when he says this, the brothers hear this dream, or Yusuf alayhi salam was mentioning this dream to his brother Binyamin, and that's when they overheard it. The brothers decide, they get upset, and they talk to each other. They tell each other that what should we do with Yusuf? So now the brothers are really upset. They're really jealous. They have a good intention, and their intention is that we want the love of our father. Allah calls this story Ahsan al-Qasas, the best story. And the reason Allah calls it the best story is at the end of the story, every person mentioned in the story becomes someone forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the major key players in the story are forgiven by Allah, and that's why it's such an amazing story. Because it's not a perfect story. It's a sad story, it's a story of struggle, but it's a story of forgiveness. Because at the end of the day, every single person in the story becomes someone whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives later on. So it goes on and it starts, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam says the dream to his brothers, Binyamin, and the brothers overhear this. So the brothers get angry, they have this meeting, and in the meeting they say to each other, what should we do with Yusuf? One brother says, uqtuluhu, let's kill him. Like straight, the guy was not in the head, he was insane. He was like, let's just kill him. And everyone's like, whoa, relax. The eldest brother at that time says that, bro, don't kill him, but toss him in a well or something and somebody will pick him up. The older sibling doesn't snitch on them. And that's a lesson for siblings. Don't snitch on your siblings. Don't tell on your siblings. The reason is that if you tell on your siblings, the siblings will then lose trust in you. The brother of Yusuf alayhi salam could have went and told Yaqub alayhi salam that, bro, dad, these our brothers, they're crazy. They're trying to kill Yusuf. But he doesn't say it because he knows that the next time they start planning that they have their meeting, they're not going to include him in the discussion. So that is why he goes and he says that he continues and he says that he tells them that, hey, just drop them off in a well. So the brothers go tell Yaqub alayhi salam that we want to take Yusuf, we want to play with him, he's our brother, we want to have a good time with him. The dad says, no, I'm scared. He sees a dream. Yaqub alayhi salam saw a dream where a wolf came and ate Yusuf alayhi salam. So he says, I'm scared that a wolf will come and eat him. And the brothers are like, dad, if a wolf comes and eats Yusuf, we're nahnu usba. We're strong, we're a squad. There's no way anyone's going to be able to touch him. We got his back. And this is a lesson. Not every person who says they got your back is a friend of yours. Har hath milane wala dost nahi hota. Every person who shakes your hand is not a friend. Just because they seem like a friend, they act like a friend at times, does not mean that they're actually a friend. The brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam acted like they were close to Yusuf and they were friends of Yusuf alayhi salam, but they weren't. Remember, when jealousy enters the hearts, then brothers become strangers. And when love enters the hearts, then strangers become brothers. When jealousy enters the heart, brothers become strangers. And when love enters the heart, then then strangers become brothers. Okay. So Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam's brothers, they take Yusuf alayhi salam, they put him on his back, and they're going out. They're walking out. And as they're walking out, they see, as they're walking out, they put Yusuf alayhi salam on their shoulder, and everyone, and they're cuddling him, like, oh, he's so cute, he's so amazing. And as they're doing that, and once Yaqub alayhi salam can't see them anymore, they throw Yusuf alayhi salam to the floor. And they slap him, and they beat him, and they hit him, and they punch him. And after that, they go and they take him and they throw him inside a well. They go and they take a sheep, they slaughter a sheep, they take Yusuf alayhi salam's shirt and they put the blood on the shirt and they come home. They come at nighttime crying. And this shows you, don't believe every tear. Not every single person who cries is genuine. These are very easy to make a person cry. Any person, these movie stars, they cry. Does that mean that they're genuinely crying? You feel their emotion. You cry in movies, but is it real? So don't judge a person just because they come crying to you, even if it's a mother or father or anyone. Sometimes you make irrational decisions just by seeing tears, and that is why you have to be rational with this. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he is stuck inside a well, and his brother is looking at him to make sure that he's okay. The other brothers go home with a bloody shirt, and they tell their dad, they're crying, and they're like, Dad, a wolf ate Yusuf, and look at his shirt. Look, there's blood all over it. But afatul kidhb an-nisyan, the problem with lying is you forget. You forget the minor details, right? You leave something out. Afatul kidhb an-nisyan, that's the problem with it. That is the byproduct of a person lying, that they no longer remember all the facts that they had once said. So when Yaqub alayhi salam looks at the shirt, he's like, yo, this shirt hasn't even been ripped. The shirt only has blood on it. What did the wolf quietly take the shirt off, eat up Yusuf alayhi salam, neatly place the shirt down, and then just drop the blood of Yusuf alayhi salam on it? He's like, hey, this doesn't make sense. But he said, فَصَبَرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Sabr is patient. He's like, sabr is beautiful. Having patience is beautiful. Why does he call patience beautiful? Patience sucks, right? No one likes patience. Because when you're being patient, you're burning inside, you're boiling inside, and then you have to put a stomp on your emotions, and you have to have patience. It sucks, but he calls it beautiful because the fruit of patience is beautiful. What Allah will give you due to your patience is beautiful. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with the patient one. When you are struggling, when you are going through a difficulty and you're patient and you feel like that the world is alone and no one is with you, no one understands you, no one gets you, that's when you know that your Allah is with you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. I'm with you. I know you feel like no one's with you. I know you feel like no one understands you. I know you feel like no one loves you. I know you feel like no one cares about you. I know you feel like you have your problems, struggles. But don't forget, if you're going through a difficulty, Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin, Allah is with you. So Yusuf alayhi salam gets stuck in this well. A group of people who were traveling, they went to get some water, and they popped out and they see this boy. And back in the day, slavery was very common. You kidnapped a child and that became your slave. That was the culture of the people in those days. So when they saw him, they were like, Ya Bushra. They said, whoa. They said, this is a boy. Where did we get this boy from? And they hid him. They take him to the city, and then they sell him off to the governor of Egypt. And the governor of Egypt takes him home to his wife Zulaykha, and he says that, look, we have this boy. Asa an yattakhidahu waladan aw yanfa'una. Maybe we will take him as our own child, or maybe he'll benefit us. Remember I told you the story of Musa alayhi salam and the story of Yusuf alayhi salam are very similar. Musa alayhi salam's story starts off with a dream. Musa alayhi salam's story starts off with a single mom. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam starts off with a single dad. Musa alayhi salam's sister is the one who supports him, and his brother becomes a prophet. Yusuf alayhi salam, his brothers don't support him, but then one of his brother Binyamin becomes a prophet. Yusuf alayhi salam gets tossed in a well. Musa alayhi salam gets tossed in a river. Yusuf alayhi salam is found by some travelers. Musa alayhi salam is found by the people at the court. The Asiya, the queen of Egypt, tells the king of Egypt, Fir'aun, that Asa an yattakhidahu waladan aw yanfa'ana. Maybe he will benefit us or we'll take him as a child. The very words thousands of years before, the governor of Egypt tells Zulaykha, his wife, that this boy, treat him well, he might be a child of ours or he may benefit us. So you can see up until this point, these stories are mirrors. And what does this teach us? Learn about the people of the past. because their incidents and their lives will repeat and their situations will repeat. And if you know their history, then you're going to be able to benefit, and you're going to be able to appreciate, and you're going to be able to absorb from them and benefit in your own life. But if you're ignorant and you don't learn, then you won't know how to deal with it in your own life. They say history repeats itself. History repeats itself. And those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And if we've learned something from history, it is that no one learns from history. History repeats itself. And those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And if we've learned something, then people never learn from history, illa mashallah. So this boy goes inside, and he's inside the palace, in the queen's palace. And Yusuf alayhi salam was drop dead gorgeous. Beautiful skin, beautiful physique. He was like the most, Allah had given him half of the beauty of mankind. Of his era, half the beauty was in one individual. He was beauty overload. So Zulaykha was strong, was like crushing on him hard. She was crushing on him on a different level. And she wanted to slide into his DMs. So I'm translating the story in your language, in your terminology, so you understand it. Obviously, there was no Instagram in their days. She goes and she locks all the doors. And when she gets him privately in the room, she slides in. And she says, hey, you got some gorgeous eyes. I love your eyes. Oh, those eyes are just so beautiful. You know how when the boys, if they have colored eyes, they take their pictures. If they don't have colored eyes and they have dark colored eyes, and they go stand in the sun until their eyes start looking brown, and then they take a picture to show that they have a different color eye. If you have the same black color eyes that we all do, but you're trying to be a little extra. Anyway, so Yusuf alayhi salam, this girl starts crushing on him hard. And she says to him, she says that, hey, you got gorgeous eyes. He's like, the first thing that is going to fall out of my face is going to be my eyes. She says, your smile is amazing. So bright, it's so beautiful. He's like, my teeth one by one will fall out in my grave. She says, your skin is so soft. He said, it's going to be the food of the insects in the ground. She says, your hair is just so wavy. And he's like, that's the first thing that's going to fall out. And at every junction and every moment, she praises him, he shuts her down. What would you and I say? Alhamdulillah, sister, jazakallah khair, may Allah bless you. You know, maybe if we're together, then you can also get some of my beauty and we can have beautiful children for the sake of Allah. No, he doesn't entertain it. She slides into his DM and he just blocks it off, ignores it. He doesn't entertain it because he doesn't want to slip. And then she approaches him. She gets aggressive. قالت هيت لك. She says, hey, babe. هيت لك in your language. Hey, babe. Hey there, hottie. And he was like, all right, now it's getting too far. This girl is crossing the line now. So he begins running, and she's running after him. People of power, that's why never be alone with someone who's of individual power. They will abuse their power. Always have your guidelines and your restrictions around a person, because people of power tend to abuse their power when it comes to their sexual prowess. So she goes and she begins chasing him, and she had locked all the doors. And as Yusuf alayhi salam is running, it was like automatic doors. His miracle was that the doors were opening. And as he got to the end, her husband was standing right there. And the moment she saw her husband, she was like, فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ أَرَادَ بِأَهْلِكَ سُوءًا. Oh, hubby, this guy's been hitting on me. What should we do with him? And he's like, wait, what? What do you mean you were in my DMs? And she's like, no, he was hitting on me. And now she's scared that he might get killed. So she's like, hey, throw him into prison or punish him, because she still likes him, but her lust was there. And that's why she blamed him. Later on, you're going to see how her love grows from lust to love, and then she absorbs the blame herself. And you'll see this difference from lust to love. So she goes and she says, oh, he was trying to hit on me. You know, like that time, it's that girl, she gets dropped off to her home. Her boyfriend drops her off to the home. Dad's like, hey, who is that guy? Oh, Dad, it's my Uber driver. Right? You don't want to tell him who it is. You don't want to take the blame, so just blame that person. Or no, Dad, he's the one that was trying to talk to me the whole time. Oh, she's always trying to talk to me, but you were just as wrong. You were the one slipping. You were the one making mistake. So then one of the people that was sitting around there, they were like, hey, hold up. If you want to find out who's speaking the truth, check the shirt. Where is the rip? Is his shirt ripped from the back, or is it ripped from the front? If it's ripped from the front, that means he was on top of her and she was trying to get rid of him. But if it's ripped from the back, that means he was running away from her and she was trying to get him. And when they checked, his shirt from the back was ripped. And then the move that the guy, her husband, was genuine. He didn't blame someone for no reason. Sometimes our sister's dating someone, our brother's dating someone, we trip out on the opposite person. Bro, take care of your own brother first. Handle your sister first. You talk to them first. The other guy is wrong or the other girl is wrong, but your own family is wrong to begin with. Stop blaming other people. Your sister's the one that's talking to them. Your brother's the one that's going around sending snaps to everybody else. It's not the other person's fault. They're just equally to blame. You deal with your own sibling. And what does the husband say? He was like, sweetheart, you're wrong. You were wrong. Go ask Allah to forgive you. Yusuf, ignore this girl. She's thirsty. Let her go. I'm really sorry, man. My bad. Now later on, all over Egypt, it was the new hashtag. It was trending that, hey, Yusuf alayhi salam, that Zulaykha, the queen, the princess, or the governor's wife, she's hitting on somebody of low class. Now, obviously, people of that time were racist. You had your classes. You had upper class, middle class, lower class. Upper class didn't date peasants, and you had all of that type of Aladdin type of a drama that happened in those days. And everyone was talking that, yo, you heard about the queen? She was hitting on a young boy. She was going nuts after him. Yo, you heard what she did? She was so deep in his DMs that like she was in his primary, his general, and his restricted inbox. That's how deep she was in his inbox, in his DMs. When she heard all of this, she was like, hold up. Are people talking? Wait. So she goes and she simps, she simps hard. She calls Yusuf alayhi salam, she calls all of her friends, and she says that she gives them knives in their hands. And she says, in those days, when people chill at your home, they're having Sour Patches and they're having hot fries and they're having Chester's chips or whatever. In those days, when you chilled, you had fruits. So she gave everyone fruits. And she was pretty in the head too. So she goes and everybody's chilling and they're eating and they're cutting their fruits. And she tells Yusuf alayhi salam to do like a runway. She's like, hey, go across. And Yusuf alayhi salam's like, no. And she's like, yo, go over there. And Yusuf alayhi salam just walks past. And these girls go nuts. And they're just looking at him and they're like, their mouths are drooling, their eyes are popped out, and they're cutting their fruits and they begin cutting their fingers off. And they don't realize, now that's what you call someone who's good looking. The rest of y'all put hella filters on. Yusuf alayhi salam didn't need no filter for his Snapchat or anything else. He was just naturally, hashtag no filter beauty. And he goes and they begin snipping and cutting their fingers off, and they begin cutting their thumbs off, and they begin cutting their hands off. And after they saw that, all the women start telling Yusuf alayhi salam, yo, you should go hop on. Listen, go chill with, she's cool. Go be with her. And you know what? After you're done with her, you can just come, you can slide into my DMs too. You can be, now first it was difficult dealing with Zulaykha. Like it's easy to tell a guy or a girl to control your emotions. But what happens when the girl you like or a beautiful girl or a beautiful guy or a good looking guy slides into your DM and is after you? What do you do at that time? Now, first, Yusuf alayhi salam's fitna was one girl. Now her whole squad wants him. Bro, like this is on a different level. Like you think you're good looking? You think you got girls after you? Yusuf alayhi salam not only had the girl, but he had her whole squad. They were all on that. Like that was the new group chat name, that Yusuf and Princess. That's all they wanted. They wanted Yusuf alayhi salam. And Yusuf alayhi salam was like, no. Like, and she was like, hey, listen, if you don't listen to us, we're going to throw you in jail. You're going to go through a lot of problems. We're going to do this. We're going to ruin your life. And you know what he says? He says, Rabbi sijnu ahabbu ilayya. He says, Ya Allah, throw me in jail. Ya Allah, send me to jail. Like, who does dua to go to jail? And that teaches you, not every single person in jail is guilty. Not every individual who faces jail is guilty. Nelson Mandela wasn't guilty, but he was in jail. But the person, don't judge a person at their state. You don't know the story behind the story after. If someone tells you that, hey, this guy's a convict, or this guy used to spend time in jail, who would give their daughter to someone who's been to jail? You know how many convert Muslim brothers and sisters are struggling to get married because they had a rap sheet that they once were in prison, but then they found Islam in prison. Yusuf alayhi salam was a convict. Yusuf alayhi salam was in jail. Yes, crimeless convict. He didn't do anything wrong, but nevertheless, he went to jail. Which parents would give their daughter to Yusuf alayhi salam? You see, that judgmental mentality that we have in our minds, we need to get rid of this. So Yusuf alayhi salam gets into jail. And while he's in jail for a long time. And he sees, now Yusuf alayhi salam was a master in dream interpretation. So he sees this dream. And so he's in jail, and everyone can see this guy is special. He's not supposed to be here. He's unique. Two people come to him, and one guy's like, yo, I saw a dream where I see birds eating out of my head. And the second guy says, I see myself squeezing grapes. Yusuf alayhi salam's like, yo, the first guy, bro, my bad, you're about to die. You're going to get hung. The second guy, he's like, yo, you're going to be the wine cupbearer for the king in Egypt. Wine wasn't haram at that time. So he says, you're going to be the cupbearer for the king of Egypt. And he says, look, when you go there, remind the king that, yo, I'm stuck in here. You know, it wasn't my fault. I'm stuck in here. He said, okay. But the guy forgot. Or the Quranic verse is saying that Yusuf alayhi salam forgot to mention it to Allah. But it seems that guy forgot. Or both of them. And he goes back and he forgets. Years later, Yusuf alayhi salam stays inside the prison. Years later, the king sees a dream. He sees 7 fat cows eating 7 thin cows, and he sees 7 crops being very lush and 7 crops that are very dry. And he goes to the people like, yo, what does this dream mean? Everyone's like, yo, these dreams don't have a meaning. Every dream has one of 3 options. Either it is a message from Allah, or it is manipulation from shaitan, or number 3 is just what you're thinking about during the day. So he says that, okay, the guy who was squeezing the alcohol, he's like, yo, I know a guy in jail. I used to be like cellmates with this guy. He could interpret dreams. And he's like, no way, go call him. So when he arrives and tells Yusuf alayhi salam, look, Yusuf alayhi salam, this guy was supposed to help Yusuf alayhi salam out. Yusuf alayhi salam, he ghosted Yusuf alayhi salam. But Yusuf alayhi salam does not hold it against him because he's always looking to help people out. When the guy asked him about the dream's interpretation, Yusuf alayhi salam was like, yo, y'all are going to have 7 good years, and you're going to have 7 years where you're going to have a huge drought, and Allah's going to then give you normal years again. But the 7 years that you're going to have a lot of crops, make sure you ration them. So the 7 years to come, the drought that's going to come, you have enough food for the 7 years to come, right? And he's like, make sure you take care of this thing. Goes back. The king hears about this, and the king's like, yo, send me that guy, because this is knowledge on a different level. This guy's the real deal. And when the person came to call Yusuf alayhi salam out of prison, bro, you've been in prison for over 10 years. If it was you and I, we'd get out immediately. Yusuf alayhi salam's like, no, first clear my name. And that's why it is said, ittaqu mawadi' at-tuham. Avoid the places where you'll be accused. Avoid accusations. He's like, no, clear my name first. I'm not going to go in with a scandal. I'm not walking in with the scandal. So then, when he calls those women, the woman starts to say, she was like, yo, no, it wasn't Yusuf, it was me that slept. She began with lust and she ended up with love, because now she just wanted to see her beloved out of jail. In the beginning, it was lust. She was young, he was young. So at that time, it was like, yo, throw him into jail. I don't care about him. Yeah. But then the love grew. Then it was like, no. I will sacrifice my own honor and dignity. I will sacrifice more on my honor and dignity for Yusuf alayhi salam. And that is true love. If that boy's throwing you under the bus or that girl's throwing you under the bus, yo, that ain't real love. Real love is where you sacrifice tu man shudi me man shuda. As the Persian poet says, we are 2 bodies, but the soul is one. Our soul is one, split into 2 bodies, tu man shudi me man shuda. And together we are one. That our understanding, we're synced on a different level. And that is what true love is. When the happiness of the other person supersedes your own happiness, that is love. When her parents are beloved to you just because they're her parents, that's love. When his mother and father is beloved to you because they belong to him, that's love. When anything he likes becomes beloved to you, that's love. When anything she likes becomes beloved to you, that's love. But if it's only because you want to just get her snaps and you just want to see pictures of her late at night so you can get excited, then that's not love, that's lust. You're not the only one he's getting pictures from. Neither are you the first, neither will you be the last, but you'll be an image in the books of his images. You'll be a photo, you'll be an album in his memories, and you'll be another section that he will summon upon in the times when he is feeling in the mood. You will summon you, or he will summon his memories with you. Don't be an individual, or don't sell your body off so cheap. Don't send a picture to anyone. Don't reveal yourself to anybody, because guess what? You will forget that person, but that person in their darkest moment will collect on your thoughts, and you will be getting sin long after you've forgotten that individual, you've forgotten that person. So when Yusuf alayhi salam comes out, Yusuf alayhi salam is also really humble, right? He doesn't go around and be like, yeah, all you girls, these are the girls, thirsty. Right next to them, quench it, give them a Snicker bar. These are the thirstiest girls in all of Africa. He doesn't say that. He gets up and he says, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. He says, look, man, I'm not saying I was perfect. Anyone can slip. Shaitan goes and talks to anybody. Shaitan convinces anybody. Shaitan tries to beguile and make anybody slip. He doesn't go and just throws her under the bus. Bro, Yusuf alayhi salam is like this amazing individual. We only know about his beauty, but his inside was far more beautiful. The man was patient. And that's what made a beautiful person even more beautiful. It was the patience that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam has. Okay, so then he carries on, and Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, the story is long and our time is done, but I want to extract some facts from here. Just the way Yusuf alayhi salam went into exile and into prison, Musa alayhi salam went into exile and prison. Just the way Yusuf alayhi salam grew up in a palace in Egypt, Musa alayhi salam grew up in a palace in Egypt. Just the way in Yusuf alayhi salam's story, the shirt was always used. The brothers used the shirt when to beguile the father and say that, look, the wolf ate him. The brothers used the shirt. Zulaykha ripped his shirt. Yusuf alayhi salam, at the end of the story, when his father's eyesight comes back and he cries tears until he can no longer see, he gives him his shirt. The shirt is used over and over and over again. In the story of Musa alayhi salam, the staff is used over and over and over again. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam begins in Palestine, ends in Egypt. The story of Musa alayhi salam begins in Egypt, ends in Palestine. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam begins as a pauper into a palace. The story of Musa alayhi salam begins as a pauper into a palace, and he gets his tarbiyah inside a palace. You see these similarities, and what is Allah trying to tell us? Allah is saying that, look, you can have everything in the world. You can be beautiful, you can be strong. Musa alayhi salam was strong, and Yusuf alayhi salam was beauty. And most people want one of these two things. Both of them enjoyed power. But at the end of the day, Allah says it matters what your heart is, what kind of person you are. You can be the most beautiful person, but you can have the most struggling and the most difficult life. Everyone talks about Romeo and Juliet, and they talk about the love of Romeo. And everyone talks about Layla and Majnun, and they say the stories of Majnun, but no one talks about the story from the vantage point of Layla. No one tells you the story from the vantage point of Juliet, the one being loved, the one who is reciprocated and has this admiration that when people are in love with you and you don't feel the same way about them back, and how to deal with that. No one says the story from that side, but Allah says the story of Yusuf alayhi salam from that angle. And he says, look, this wasn't a guy who was wanting other people. It was the opposite around. You see a beautiful person and you're like, dude, their life is so perfect. Bro, you don't know their life. There was this woman, she was doing tawaf around the Kaaba, and she was really, really pretty. And some guy looks at her and he's like, yo, you're so beautiful. It seems like you've never had a problem in your life before. And she stops the man and she's like, yo, hold up. You think I don't have problems? You don't think I have difficulties? He's like, oh, look at this girl. She's just going to go on a rant now. Oh, she's got the worst life in my, like people trip out like, oh my God, she's going to be super extra. And she's like, yo, you want to know about my life? I had a husband and 2 kids. One of my kids goes to the other kid and he says, let me show you how dad slaughters the sheep. He takes the knife and he runs the knife on top of my little son, and my little kid dies. When he dies, the other kid gets scared. He runs into the woods he runs in the woods getting scared. My husband goes chasing after him. In one day, my little kid dies. My husband and my other child eaten by wolves. I lost everything in one day. What do you know about my pain? You see my outside and you think that my life is perfect. You don't know my life. You don't know what I go through. You don't know what's happening to me. Remember one thing. Don't judge anyone else until you have not walked a mile in their shoes. Don't judge anyone until you have not walked a mile in their shoes, because then you will be a mile away with them. You will have shoes and they won't have shoes, and you'll be in a less position to judge them. Don't see everyone and just start judging people's lives and how they are. Everyone's going through a difficulty and struggle. When I do tawaf around the Kaaba, I just reflect and I think to myself that, man, each person's got a tough life here. and each person is doing a unique dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, that is the session for today. It got a little extra on in terms of the story is very long, but I just did a brief of it. I will be going into detail of the story every Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 3:30 p.m. So I'll post the flyer here if you want to go into detail. I just did like the Cliff Notes version of half the story. So let's see what we have here. Okay, some questions we'll answer, and then we'll do some du'as, inshallah. Does a dream have to be before Fajr to have a meaning? No, but dreams that are before Fajr usually have the best meanings to them. Dreams that are seen when you miss Fajr are not good dreams. Is lucid dreaming haram? I don't even know what lucid dreaming is. But if it means that you can conjure your own dream, then no, it's fine. You can do whatever you want in the dream area. Okay, there is 2 dua requests. I see no one's asking questions anymore. Ali Wazir and M. Jamal Musa. We'll do dua for them, and one more person, inshallah, we'll do dua for. Let's see who's on, and we'll do dua for one more person, inshallah. Faraj, we'll make dua for Faraj today. Okay. Ali Wazir, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open your heart to knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill it with nur. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you towards the right path. May Allah always make you in the pursuit of studying deen. May Allah open your heart towards the intricacies and the depth of tafseer and of the Arabic language. M. Jamal Musa, we've never met, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the du'as that you have. May Allah make your heart pure. May Allah remove all hatred, anger, and all anger that you have in your heart. May Allah remove all animosity from it, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your heart a clean heart. And the last person, I forgot who I said, Faraj. His mother sent some food for me today, kari khichdi. So all the goodies that are on here, they can respond. His family, I'm a bit close to his family, so I told his mom that, I've never gotten kari khichdi. So she sent kari khichdi today. It was really, really good kari khichdi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Faraj, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove all illnesses from you, mental, physical, and all types of sicknesses. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove from you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your mind clear. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you with intelligence and intellect. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you with akhlaq. May Allah make you a hafiz of the Qur'an. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open your heart towards the deen. May Allah make you motivated to the deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove all the difficulties from your home. May Allah allow you to earn the du'as of mom and dad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you on the right path. May Allah make you not miss your prayers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect your family, give your family shifa and health. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep them in His pleasure and in His happiness. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.